As I've recently announced, I'm going to start doing some board game reviews here. But before I kind of get into the board games, I thought I'd talk a little bit about why I have 75 individual board games. Probably, there's probably more. There's more than 75. But that's why I'm calling this blog entry, or whatever you want to call it, Playing with Your Mind. Because I want to talk about the psychological and cognitive things that are in games that appeal to us, that appeal to those cognitive senses, that make us want to collect them, that make us want to actually play games in the first place. So if you follow this series, maybe you'll find some games that you might want to purchase for yourself that you can enjoy with your friends and family. Or maybe you'll find a few games here, like I have, that don't particularly fit your niche or don't particularly scratch that itch. So either way, there should be something valuable and rewarding here. Let's get to it. Before we review games, I want to talk to you about the psychology of games and some of the abnormal psychology of games, like why do I own 75 boxes of games? Well, that's kind of part of what I want to talk to you about, but I also want to tell you that this emerging game industry, this current golden age that we're going through, could actually make you a better person, a better human being. And I'll have to sell that to you in a little bit, but first we're going to talk about the psychology of all this stuff, and part of that is boxes. I love boxes. I have all these little boxes. This is one of the oldest boxes I have. My mother got this for me for Christmas when you're like in 1976, because I asked her for a box for Christmas. She got me this one. My wife got me this one because it's a really cool box a few years ago for Christmas because I like boxes. My brother made this box for me for a pirate game. So I've got boxes, and most of the boxes I've got are all filled with game stuff. So boxes are a tactile thing. They make you want to know what's inside the box. So when you pick up a game box, you kind of want to know what's inside here. It's very primitive. It goes back to ancient times. Pandora's box is a story about wanting to know something, the curiosity that gets to us as human beings. We're naturally curious. We want to know what's inside here, what's the mystery, what's being kept from us. It's the same thing that happens to you in like games on TV, game shows, where you're willing to trade away something you have and something you know for something you don't know and something you don't have behind curtain number one. And we struggle with those choices. Part of it's the tangibility. Part of it is we have a box, and now it's a big gaping demand for us to put stuff in it. And when we put stuff in it, now it's ours. It's possessive. So we start to collect things. And it appeals to a very primitive part of us that likes to have possessions, a place to keep stuff, and it just gnaws at us, the curiosity of what's inside this box. So why are boxes important? Boxes represent mystery, discovery, and the unknown. When you find a box, a strange, exotic-looking box, your first impulse is that natural human curiosity, that gnawing desire for knowledge, for understanding, or to discover something that is being intentionally hidden from you. It's an impulse as old as human nature. It even goes back to the Garden of Eden. And there's another deeply primal reason that boxes are appealing. Game designer Rob Daviau, who designed Risk Legacy and Pandemic Legacy, conducted an experiment to determine the high point of his playtesters when they were playing the game. And the high point was the point when they're most engaged or most excited about playing the game. And he found out it was actually when they opened the box. The sense of mystery, the potential for discovery, the fun, the challenge, it's all there when you open the box. He also found something that actually happened before they opened the box. He found they were playing the game even before they got the box to the table. It all started with someone saying, let's play a game. Oh, well, which game do you want to play? Ooh, let's play this game. Oh, yeah, that game. I'm going to kick your butt. They were already playing the game before they got the box to the table. I own 75 plus board games because I like boxes. But some of these games don't actually fit in a box. Some are on paper, some are in a bag, and some take place only inside your mind. So aside from the psychology of what's in the box, why do I love games? Part of the reason is actually no longer with us. It was my brother, Greg. He was born with a major congenital heart defect. The two major vessels of his heart were transposed. His heart literally worked backwards, and he wasn't able to participate in physical activities, and if he did, he couldn't do it for very long. So Greg's world was my world, and our world was one of imagination, stories, games, spirituality. Greg and I played games or made up adventures or even played out scenes from a normal life that he knew he was never going to experience. Owning a home, having a family. He couldn't run and jump and play or keep up with the rest of us. My mom had 5 boys, and we lived down the street from the Baskin family, and they had 5 boys. So there was always boys, and there was always something going on, but mostly outside. So we were always outside doing things, except for when we weren't. When it rained, or it was just too hot, or we were between hobbies, games were always something we could do, and Greg could do with us. Games were places we could go, adventures we could have without risking broken bones, or ways of challenging and getting to know each other. There was a disparity of ages in this group of kids, and some games leveled that playing field, so everyone could have an experience, regardless of age or physical strength. You say, video games, well, they can do that too. There's not a lot of physical demands on video games, well, not a lot. And you can buy games that cross platforms as far as age groups, and it can still be competitive. And yeah, okay, video games can do that. But I said playing board games could make you a better person. All right, so maybe I should actually explain that. Playing a video game is inherently a very passive experience. You sit here and you zone out. They demand a lot of your time, but a lot of it is solo and solitary. So you're not interacting with people. And even if you are interacting with people over a network where you're actually communicating, the communication that comes through this network and that follows a lot of very popular games is considered to be a turnoff, a very bad thing, and not very inclusive for a lot of people, because that line of communication is now anonymous, and people will say horrible, nasty, terrible, insulting things across these networks because there is no face-to-face accountability. And it's given gaming a very black eye. So that's not good. But board games do something that video games can't do, and it's that human interaction. You have a living, breathing, intelligent person across from you. And sometimes just having people in the room with you when you're playing board games, it changes the dynamics. And you'll be amazed exactly how creative they can be, and sometimes even how devious they can be, because that is something that they will do face-to-face, is lie to you. A lot of my games have to do with bluffing. And when I'm explaining these games to people and say, well, you're going to be kind of deceptive about the cards that you're going to play, or you're going to hold things back and not tell people, and they say, oh, we're going to lie about this, or we're going to be bluffing? Got it. And they're down with it. And it's amazing how quickly they adapt. But that's what board games do so well, is you have that intelligent person there, and video games, they just can't replicate that. So would you like to be a better person? Put down your phone, put down your tablet, start interacting face-to-face with your friends. You can do this with your coworkers, your students, your parishioners, your family. Making eye contact with people is how you create relationships. And the better you are at relationships, the better you are at being a real, honest-to-goodness human being. Anytime you can get out of that dark, selfish corner we've all learned to live in and learn to share something with another person, it makes you a better person. Games allow you to share. You share experiences, you share time, energy, your intellect, your voice, your talent. You tell stories about the games that you've played, and you show emotion. A lot of people get very emotional about games, and you can even show your heart. I'm not saying that lightly, because games can easily reflect your inner passions. My passion is for teaching and being around other people, so it's no wonder games appeal to me. So yes, I'm saying games can make you a better person. Specifically, board games can make you a better person. And it's not just the human interaction. It's all of the other things that board games bring to you that you don't get in video gaming. Concepts of history, deductive reasoning, management of time, and utilization of resources. Everything. It's all right there. This is a copy of Rob Daviau's Pandemic Legacy. Matt Leacock, also one of the designers of the original Pandemic. But this game will introduce you to the entire world and make you care about it. You care if people in Buenos Aires are dying or people in Sydney are sick. You care. And it's the whole world open to you. Everything that makes us tick, that we love, communication, social dynamics, art, design, it's all right here waiting to be discovered. Now seriously, don't you really want to know what's inside this box?